The 16-year-old is charged with first-degree murder for killing his mother and stepfather. Pam and Kermit Jordan in their Woodland Park
When these homicides happen, they tend to be some of the worst crime scenes you'll ever see. Now, the term heinous may go to what they're talking about, the nature of the kid, that the kid is a heinous person. I don't agree with that. These kids, by and large, are responding to typically horrific situations at home. They see no way out, and when they kill through a confluence of circumstances, that's supposed to be unexpected, but if you look at their lives, it unfortunately follows a tragedy that was waiting to happen.
The 16-year-old boy spent the day stoically watching a parade of witnesses, but occasionally...
Jacob's trial took place 2 years later in 1994.
To evaluate the 16-year-old after he shot and killed his mother and stepfather.
It was in the news every day.
Nervously twitching a pen was in from the beginning on the killing of his own parents.
The one witness who could shed light on Jacob's life at home was his older brother Charles.
There were many secrets in the house that we didn't tell people.
I did my best as far as explaining to the court the type of environment that we were in, the pain that we were experiencing and being inflicted upon, even the sexual abuse. I broke my code of silence. And in front of the whole world to see, with the cameras rolling and everything.
He would basically rape us.
He would wait until we got home, oftentimes sneaking up behind me or Jacob, and throwing us into the bathroom, literally taking us by the shoulders and tossing us into the bathroom, and there he would hit us across the face and body and say, "Get on the toilet." And he would pull the ropes out from underneath the credenza.
Have us get undressed, then tell us. He would start to masturbate. And after he was done, he would get dressed. And say, "You're so dirty. Go and take a shower."
Always laughing. It was always, I mean, to say it was maniacal would be an understatement. Just laughing, chuckling, pleased with himself.
Hind has never said, at least on record, that he was molested, but his brother testified that it happened to both boys.
Problem is child abuse is the perfect crime. It's a perfect crime because parents who do it seal their own protection because they know the kids are typically A, not going to fight back, and B, typically not report. Because as bad as children get treated by their parents, that parent is still the caregiver. That parent still is the nourisher. And it's very difficult for the average human being to fight against that person, to rebel against that person. And that's why parricide is such a unique offense.
Did your mother know?
I think she did know in the back of her mind. I think she was very much in denial about the true nature of Kermit.
In a lot of cases of parricide, they'll be just as angry at the person who throws them to the wolves, so to speak. I mean, and even if the mother weren't doing anything, the kids will say, "Why didn't you protect us?" In Jacob's case, not only didn't she protect him, she was doing the same things to him, and it wasn't just sexual abuse. I mean, she treated him horrendously.
Well, not only was she unhappy with her marriage, she was also unhappy with being pregnant with her second child. He was about 8, 9 months old, and we went in. She did not know I had followed her in there. And she just kind of grabbed Jacob, and she goes, "I just hate you. She goes, "I wish you had never been born, you know."
Jacob was conceived to save the marriage, to repair it. And he became the representation of her broken dreams. And I think in many, many respects, she resented Jacob's entire existence.
Growing up, Jacob began to cut himself.
All my life, I've been a cutter. When things get hard, I cut on myself, and it makes me feel better. I get this huge ball of, I couldn't even name the emotion. I mean, it was just chaos inside, and cutting would be the only way to release it.
No one paid attention.
When your cries for help go unheard, there are no options. At that point, and I understand this is where Jacob was coming from. This was pure survival.
Some of the evidence prosecutors brought out today included a baseboard, a door, and part of a wall. All are splattered with blood.
There has to be some type of force impacting the blood, causing the blood.
The extreme damage done to the child is reflected in the rage of the homicide. They have to use the baseball bat numerous times. They have to stab numerous times. They never fire one bullet from a gun, they fire the whole barrel. It's not just bang and you're dead. Never happens like that. Never, never, never.
But is abuse a reason to commit murder? A question the jury must eventually answer.
For years, I mean, when things get real bad, I'd be able to tell myself, okay, but they'll be gone soon. I'd say, oh, I don't have to put up with it much longer. I took sanctuary within that fantasy of it being over. And it's still almost half fantasy for me, all the way up till the point of the murders. I mean, even when, up until the first trigger was actually pulled, it was still, to me, half fantasy. All I wanted was something to end. I didn't really grasp the permanency of their deaths. Definitely didn't understand the gravity of what it means to kill somebody. I mean, I didn't think that they would feel pain. I didn't think that anybody else would be affected. And now when I think back and I realize the amount of pain, it's like, oh my God. I mean, I remember I was sitting in a police station. I mean, this is how out of touch of reality I was. I had a small amount of marijuana, like 1/8 of an ounce in my bedroom. I'm telling my brother, you gotta get the marijuana or else I'm in trouble. I'm arrested for first-degree murder, and I don't think I'm in trouble. I'm telling my brother to get my homework from school and get my absence excused. I didn't know what they were gonna do with me, but I sure didn't think I was in trouble. I had no concept at all of what was going on.
Whatever happened in that house has been exaggerated. It has been exaggerated for one purpose: to get this defendant off as an excuse to kill. And there should be no excuse for killing.
So the trial was agonizing, and it was painful. And I certainly didn't feel as though human dignity was ever served, or let alone justice.
As to count number 1, we the jury find the defendant, Jacob Ine, guilty of first-degree murder of criminal.
They came down with a first-degree murder sentence. They said, according to the letter of the law, first-degree murder is what he did.
As to count number 2.
If you look at around the country, the way people are treated who commit homicide, we treat most leniently those parents who kill their children, and we treat most harshly the teenagers who kill their parents.
Even the judge at sentencing said, my hands are tied, I have no choice. And she handed him his life sentence.